right, fourth graders, here we go. Lesson number 2 in this week's study about fairy tales. You know who this is. This is Mr. Remedies here to bring you all that fairy tale goodness. As always, let's start with our learning goals and success criteria. Jump into today's vocabulary, followed by an example, and then we're going to wrap it up with a review because that's how we do it. All right, today our learning goal is that we are learning to notice and understand that fairy tales always include magic or some sort of supernatural element. Today's success criteria is something to help you along the way. Know that you're understanding this very important idea about fairy tales. Wrapped up 3 I can statements today, like I can define magic, I can define supernatural, and I can identify magic and the supernatural within a text. So let's look at those vocabulary words. First word is magic. Magic is the power to make the impossible happen. Right? Second word we're going to be looking at today is the word supernatural. Supernatural is something outside the normal laws of science. Right? Those two things, slightly different, but often are used interchangeably because they are so similar. But you know what, guys? Take another look on that screen. I love this definition of magic, the power to make the impossible happen. Because you know what, guys? We all can make a little magic. You know what I'm saying? So let's move on to an example. So we're going to start with one of our Cinderella stories from the Native American tribe, the Ojibwa. We are looking at the work of Sootface. Sootface, do you guys remember what is the magical element? What is the magical part of the story? Do you guys remember? Need a little refresher course? Well, remember a magic comb made Sootface's hair very thick and very long and luscious. But you know what? Mr. Remedies, well, I comb my hair, both the hair on my head and my beard, and I don't think that any comb I've ever had makes my hair thicker. So that must be a pretty magical comb. And remember, the second part that lets us know that there is a magical element or a supernatural influence in the story is that water washed away her hurt and sadness. And again, I've been around quite a few water, and although after a long day of working in the yard or playing basketball with my buddies or whatnot, a good shower does make me feel better, but it doesn't really wash away the hurt and sadness in a literal sense. So, boy howdy, the world would be a better place if water could do that. So we know that because it doesn't, because that's not within the normal realms of science for water, that these two examples are indicators that magic is part of this story and that there is some supernatural element going on. Let's take another quick look at another example, this time from Far East Asia, the Dragon Prince. And if you guys can remember, what is the magical supernatural part in this story? Well, we've got that the serpent turned into a dragon. You know that this is magical because dragons, as depicted in this story, do not exist. In fact, the only other thing that I can think that's even close to a dragon in the natural world is something called a Komodo dragon, and it doesn't have any wings. It's a giant, terrifying lizard, but not a dragon as we see here. And we know that this is magical because the speed in which the serpent turned into a dragon. So we can say that this is somewhat magical. We also see that dragon eventually turned into a man. I don't know about you guys, but that seems outside the realm of science. So I know that that's going to be supernatural. If I were walking down the street, or if I was ever in a situation, real talk, where I saw if I saw a dragon, period, I would probably just be scared out of my mind. But then I saw that dragon turn into a man, I would probably go insane. I would probably just lose my mind because that's something that's that's above and beyond the natural world. So we can definitely tell because these are so fantastical that these are definitely supernatural parts. All right, quick and easy lesson today. You guys know how to identify magic. It is a large part of some of the stories you like to read, whether they're in the fairy tale genre or not. So it's actually fairly easy for you guys to identify what is magic or what is supernatural and then what is realistic. So let's move on to a review. Pow. We know, according to yesterday's lesson and today, that fairy tales always include magic or a supernatural element. These elements are usually easy to identify, like Beauty and the Beast, the prince turning into a beast. Certain things like Sleeping Beauty or Snow White being awoken by just a kiss, that seems magical. Um, the chariot in Cinderella the pumpkin turning into the chariot. Those are all magical elements. But magic in fairy tales helps the reader stay interested and it helps move the story along um, to kind of just help out with the enjoyment. All right, guys, I've been Miss Remedy's super ultra fast lesson on magic and the supernatural within fairy tales, and we will see you next time. Bye for now, guys.